there is so much we have our existence भनौँ न किनभने one thing struck me when I came in 2007 it happened to for me some reason I was always passionate to be involved in the social activity. So I started my career beside my public health career professionally. I had opportunity to work in the 2010 census of the United States of America. Just after 3 years I came in this country, and then one thing I realized that time त्यो सेन्ससको काम गर्दाखेरि I was one of the enumerator. Started with that, of course, had a data collection, and one thing very strike me, and still that strike भनौँ न buzz चाहिँ like try to myself justify how can I make that difference in my community. So that's the major thing was when they was doing this with the questionnaire. Still you see the census government को questionnaire मा there is a ethnic identity you have to disclose them, right? So under there is African American, Asian American, there is so many category where the count of our existence happen actually. Right. So under the Asian American, there is a subcategory called the Indian American, Filipino American, Chinese American, Korean American. And I'm like, where I'm going to find my Nepalese American, Nepali American. Exactly. I was keep flipping the page, right? There's none, right? So then eventually I asked my supervisor, I came from the Nepal, and I see me in where I live, I see there's 1,000 people there. Right. So I imagine in whole city there should be like 100,000 people, but I still don't see my identity here. And then she told me like there is no such thing happen. If you want to be your existence or your representative there is a called others. Other the Asian American को category मा सब category मा others मा टिक लगाएर अनि त्यहाँ नेपाली American लेख्नु पर्ने क्या अथवा नेपाली, which there is a people doesn't have that awareness in community people does. So that time struck me, and then I realized that after the 2010 census, I was just new immigrant, so working there. धेरै कुरा त भन्ने हुँदैन. That result came out, and even I was doing the research. That time it was only 3,000 something people was officially data of the Nepali American.
Hold on, in New York.
In New
York, right? Not in America. In New York.
Okay. But still, in my next door, I have like whole block. There's 1,000 people live, right? And now my official data says only have a 300 something, 3,000 something people in whole New York. I'm like, seriously, that there is something wrong in either the system or ourselves. Then over the time we realize it's not just the system. It's to make your voice heard. You need to be together, and you have to create the awareness in your own community.
Exactly.
And then if you be together, then you can work towards our identity and integration and empowerment of the community. That's the three philosophy. I got to catch that त्यतिखेर के अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ I thought like no matter how successful or whatever gonna be myself career, I came from public health background or no matter how my career कस्तो जस्तो जे लेभलमा भए पनि I have to work for my community for make my community visualize. And then I say again, like empower our community in terms, but to empower, we have to first present our existence, make our loud browser, get a voice loud. And त्यो perspective, I started working different things. We're going to come on that. But again, that's some of the change को कुरामा चाहिँ how's the New York City को त्यतिखेर अहिलेकोमा. Now we see there's a lot of the system है यहाँकै सिस्टममा like a lot of the Nepalese Nepali Americanहरू are participating, making the voice louder. There is so much visible on different perspective, okay? Not professionally, also socially. There is a lot of social engagement. We have you mentioned when a conversation we have a proudly not only the community grassroots worker, but now we have a first ever proud Nepali elected in the city council.
Exactly.
Like lawmaker is Nepali.
Exactly.
So these are the change where there is so much happening. Our identity is more visual, and there is so much things can be done. But at the same time, we need to all dot needs to be connected, and we need to work collaboratively to promote more unitedly our identity integration, and then we can more empower our community.
No doubt on that. That's so fantastic to know. आजको दिनमा अर्को पालि सेन्सस हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ अनि नेपाली अमेरिकन थियो कि थिएन त?
So interesting story. I'm sorry, I'm taking more time. So after the 10 years, here is the 2020 census just happened, like before the pandemic. I mean, on
during the pandemic
2020 ma. And I was so passionate, so I again apply. And this time I work as supervisor on 2020 census ma. And then I had like 35 people I used to manage, enumerator, because I'm now supervisor. And still there is no Nepalese American category on that, because there is a certain parameters or numbers you have to be,
Critical mass.
मापदण्ड चाहिँ पुरा गरेपछि मात्रै they will honor to recognize that level, but the one thing what happened, like during that 10 years period there is another different unofficial data being published by the census department. के हुन्छ भने एउटा चाहिँ नेशनल सेन्सस भयो, ओभरअल काउन्ट गर्ने नेपाल जस्तै यहाँ पनि 10 वर्षमा. तर बिट्विन द्याट दे डु द लट अफ द अदर सेन्सस, मिनी सेन्ससहरू जस्तै इकोनोमिक पर्सपेक्टिभले, बिजनेसको हिसाबले अथवा सोसियल दे डु बिलिभ. सो 2020सम्म आउँदाखेरि स्टिल देयर वाज लाइक 7,000 समथिङ नम्बर्स, राइट?
न्युयोर्कको कुरा गरेर हामीले.
बट वाट वी ब्रट वान थिङ मेजर चेन्ज, लाइक देयर इज बाई दिस within the 10 years, there is so much social change happened. There's a lot of the active diaspora-based organization, including like Adhikary or many other like NRN, and then other social organization was so much active to bring some, do something for their community, society. But again, like most of these organizations is still kind of influenced by the Nepal politics or whatever, our changes happen in Nepal. There is a lot of the organization who also want to create some changes here and advocating for our society. So we thought, like collectively, not just only me, because I was the one of supervisor, there's I thought like if we can have more people like me working on the census or community get engaged, because there's a partnership opportunity also for the different community organizations who can collaborate with the census department or other authorities who can, before even census start, to promote that awareness so people can, even there is others, have maximum people put Nepali American or Nepalese American in that other section, not just tick mark on the other. And also one thing was very challenging on that part to get the actual number, because people are afraid, because when we talk about the 500, we're talking about the overall USA data. You have to also think about like more than 0.5% of that numbers, no matter what number we're talking. These are like, I wouldn't...
Undocumented.
Exactly. I don't want to use that term.
This program is brought to you by Vyas Studios.